allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please take a moment to say a prayer. Dear Lord, first and foremost, thank you for the wonderful weather. We appreciate the warmth and the sunshine. Please watch over the actions of this board. Hopefully what we do here is pleasing to you. In your name we pray. Amen. Reading and approval of minutes from January 16th, please.
Motion to approve and suspend reading.
Okay, motion by Hack.
Second.
Second by Weidrich. Discussion. All in favor of the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, you're opposing that, Dan?
No.
No, he said.
All right, meet.
There may be a slight delay.
Yeah, a little delay, yep. Minutes approved. Okay, reading, or approval of the agenda, please. Any changes or additions? Monty, nothing changed? Okay,
Jerry, the only thing that may change, and I let Monty know, if we get down to reports before 6, like Frederick's coming in to explain, doing some investigating on these gates.
okay,
Got some literature on it or information.
Okay.
So,
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
the agenda?
Yeah.
All right.
Agenda.
Yep. Okay, motion by Weidrich,
Second.
second by Hack. Discussion. All in favor of the agenda say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, the agenda is set. 5A, we don't have anybody here from engineering firm, but we do have some information. Monty, there's nothing that needs to be acted on, is that correct?
The only thing I would ask is your approval to sign that application for those funds that may be coming available soon regarding the lead service lines. Sorry, this takes forever.
Yep, I agree.
What it is, the state has come out with different categories of funding available to help do the inventory and those other things that we need to do for the lead copper service. So basically, we're just asking for funding to help us move that process along.
Motion to provide authorization for their signature on that request.
Motion by Pillar. Second. Second by Stern. Discussion. We need a roll call? Yeah, roll call.
Pillar.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye.
Weidrich. Obenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Monty.
That was the only thing.
So I just have a question about the notes on there, Monty.
Yes.
So it said something about a change order, TAND or something?
The notes, yeah.
Yeah.
They're still getting pricing from TAN to finish up the water tower project stuff.
Okay.
And they said, depending on which parts they get, there may be a discount for some of that to save on mobilization for a small project. So,
Sounds good.
yep.
All right. And that's it for engineer's report, correct, Monty?
Yes.
All right, moving down to 6, requested citizens. James Saylor. Go ahead, James.
You have to stand up.
You do not have to.
Okay,
You're a taxpayer. You can
I
say
have
what you want.
one request. Can the newspaper be excused?
No.
Can what I say be kept out of the newspaper?
If Dan doesn't write it, it will be.
I'm going to have to include at least a basic summary of what was discussed, but I don't have to go into the details or.
I just don't want any details put in or any of that stuff. Because I'm not here to,
Well, if there's details about what's happening, it's an ongoing investigation and we can't discuss them, but we want to hear what you have to say.
but
James.
that's the thing. I'm not here to bash Hazen City Police Department. What they did was good, but I've been asked by a lot of people. I don't know if any of you guys know, I got a gun pulled on me, my wife, and my 14-year-old daughter last week, or 2 weeks ago Sunday.
I don't think we can, Mark?
It's a tough spot because that puts the paper in a difficult spot as far as what to record. And I understand the concerns that you're bringing up. I mean, trying to provide some context and things like that, and it's just difficult in the public forum as to what can be brought up that doesn't make things a lot more difficult for the prosecution. I don't know anything about what happened to you, so
Okay, so you don't want me to,
I'd be cautious about what you bring up in that context.
then like a lot of the stuff that I was asked by citizens and sheriff's department, police officers, board members to come in and explain my story. But I don't want anybody getting reprimanded. I don't want any displeasure for the police department, for anybody. So I'm just going to, the things that I do want to bring up is, and I just, like I said, I don't want a bad image for the police department in the paper. The one thing was in the incident, it came out, it's called a Marcy card.
Mhm.
It's a.
Is that what you have right there, Jim?
And you should have copies too, about the big copies.
Yeah, and what it is, it's a victim's right. You guys can read it. But I was not given this at the time of when I should. I was told to make a statement, and I was asked if I wanted to make a statement, if I wanted to pursue charges, and I said yes. And he said, the officer said, you need to fill out a statement. He went to get statements, and he didn't have any. He had to go to Deputy Taylor's vehicle to get a statement, which, like I said, I get it that paperwork, not everybody is up to snuff. That's why I'm saying I don't want this shit in the paper, because it's not like they didn't do their job. I'm just trying to make the board aware of some certain things. Like the Marcy card was not given to me or even brought up to me or anything. This I had to find out from the SO, state's attorney, stuff like that. Didn't even know about it. The other thing was the statement. He didn't have a statement, and from everybody that talked to me about it I was giving the statement from the SO.
Yep.
And I was given to it and said, take it home, fill it out, and drop it off at the police department. Well, from everybody that I've talked to, they're like, they should have sat you down. They should have sat you down and made sure that you knew what you were doing, what you were saying, and all the other stuff. My 14-year-old daughter did not do a statement because she just was concerned. So then, finished the statement, and I was told by the arresting officer to drop it off at the Hazen Police Department. 4 times I made an attempt to stop by the police department. Nobody was there, which I get it. They're out on patrol. They're out, like I said, got no bad vibes for the police department at all. I've been questioned by quite a few people, what if the officer was in a proper attire? Well, I just had an incident go on. I don't know. From what I recall, he had a black sweatshirt on, the Hazen PD sweatshirt. I don't recall a body cam. I don't recall a vest. I don't even recall a gun belt. And that's one of the things that I want you guys, not you guys, but I don't recall if he did. I'm hoping that something comes of it, that he was properly attired. I have no problems with the arresting officer at all. I think he did a good job, not a great job, but he did a good job. He did recovered the stuff that he needed to make the case. But it was just, he was very professional. I mean, when he came up, everybody knows everybody in a small town. So it's like, he'd come out and this and that, but the problem was that, with the statement, he didn't have them, which I get it. But if the SO wasn't there, how would have I gotten them? Second, was he dressed properly? I can't recall, you guys. I don't know. And like I said, he wanted the statements filled out and dropped off at the police station. Many attempts I had to, and I actually had to have a deputy stop by the house and pick up the statements.
Okay.
And it's just, because you can't, the one thing with the whole system where it's flawed, and, like Jim, if I want to talk to Jim about something, I got to call 745-3333, give my information, and then they pass it on to Jim. Jim gets a hold of me. We don't have a direct police line. I've been told many times, I don't know the beef between Hazen City Police and the Sheriff's Office, but I've been told by many times, just skip it. Go right to the SO. I don't know. I just want everybody to be on the same line and be accountable, and everybody work together instead of, oh, he did this, or he didn't do that. He did, because this is the first time that I've ever really had an incident where I had to go this in depth.
Appreciate that, James. So your main reason for being here is you'd like to see from now that the Marcy card is given to the victim after something happens.
Just pretty much follow the protocol, and I get it. It was
Okay.
a Sunday night at 5:30, supper time, Sunday night, not a whole lot of shit going on. I get that, and like I said, I got no ill will or bad feelings with the Hazen Police Department. I was told to come to a city commission meeting and just let you guys know my experience of it. And I don't want to fabricate, don't want to exaggerate, don't want to put anybody down.
Sure.
That was my experience, was that was protocol followed? From the people that talked to me, it wasn't, but it wasn't like it was wrong. It was just certain things could have been handled differently, but I don't know, because I'm not a city commissioner, I'm not a cop, so I don't know what's right and what's wrong.
Okay.
I just want you, with certain things with this, I found out he had a bond order, and that is a non-arrestable offense. He could have walked right up to me and hit me in the face, and that's a non-arrestable offense. So, I mean.
I don't know what you're getting at with that, James.
Well, I don't know. And like I said, I don't want to take a break. I had a bunch of other stuff I wanted to bring up, but like I said, with the fear of it being put in the paper, and
Sure.
with the fear, like I
Well,
said.
you can speak with Jim or Dustin.
Yeah, and we have.
Okay.
I've just been extremely busy. I haven't really gotten to with Jim, but I have talked to Dustin about
Okay.
some things.
Okay.
And it's just, like me, it's on the back burner.
Okay.
So I just wanted you guys to be aware that if there is a certain protocol, can we double check that it is being followed correctly?
Gotcha. All
Like
right.
I said, no ill will against anybody. Jim?
Yeah.
Okay.
Problem.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks, James.
Yeah.
Jim, is there anything you want to add or comment on, or?
He was arrested that night.
The
And
Marcy card protocol?
we got so few cases where most of them was given out for domestic violence, where there's physically assault against the woman.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we forget to give them out. But then the state's attorney, Shiloh, is the victim witness activist, and she usually makes sure the victim knows what's going on. And I know and with this card here,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can be alerted to the courts and stuff, and you can go to court, but you can't say anything. You're just gonna have to sit there until it comes to trial. You can't just sit and
Okay.
start saying, I don't agree with that bond, I want it higher. They just won't do that.
The one thing I did find out was with the Marcy card, because I didn't know any of this stuff, the one thing I did find out about it is as soon as you get it, you are into a system so that you will get notifications, your preference, phone call, text, email, you will get those notifications, like with him when he went to his bond hearing. If I had the Marcy card to begin with, I would have been notified of his bond hearing.
Mhm.
Then I would have been notified when he bonded out. Neither of these I found out. I found out on my own from the SO that he was actually released, and that's the importance of the Marcy card, is that so that the victim knows what's going on
Sure.
throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
Is that correct?
And usually, if you don't get one, usually they take call you, but being a Sunday night and Monday morning paperwork, I mean, we're not the only department that they gotta deal with up there too, so it could have been overlooked on their side too. But yeah, we should have given Marcy card.
Like I said, that's why I don't want anything, it was more just the awareness of it. Because, like I said, I didn't even know about a Marcy card.
Okay.
So,
All right.
thanks guys.
James. Thanks, Jim.
And like I said, they mostly for domestic violence. And,
So we don't just have these in the police vehicle? That
yeah, we do now.
Okay.
I made sure and got every statement forms.
Okay.
He called the sheriff's office and the state's attorney multiple times to get one of these. So when he got, when the deputy dropped him off, he basically gave him the statements. Because I was supposed to meet him Monday morning for the statements.
Okay.
And even Mark Smith called me and said, why do we have these statements? It's your case.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. All right. If there's any other correspondence, you'll deal with that.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. All right, 6B, C, and D are all three local permits, Hazen Hospice, Hazen Lions, and Hazen Wrestling Club. Thanks, Jim. Have a good night. We can deal with these individually or parlay them into one.
Only thing I have a question about is on this Hazen Lions Club one, the active dates.
Yep.
as far as the statements go, if the deputy didn't give him statements after the officer was in the jail with him, he would have brought him statements.
Okay.
So we've done that, and as far as sitting down with them and telling them what to write, Mark can testify. We can't do that. We can't. The statement's entirely unknown. We can't, well, you gotta scribble that and put this,
Mhm. Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
All right, let me go to that one. I have, which one am I looking at here? You want to look at the Lions Club one?
Lions Club one.
The only question I have is active dates look like it's the entire year.
Permits are issued for a year.
Oh, permit is.
Permit is issued for a year.
I was gonna say they're doing a raffle for the entire
No.
year.
Yeah, no.
Got you.
They can actually do another raffle later if they want under the same permit, so long as it's within the year.
Got you. Makes sense. I'll make a motion to approve all three local permits.
Okay, motion by Weidrich.
Second.
Second by Hack. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, those permits are passed and approved. 8A, Renaissance Zone application. Buster Langowski.
Buster Legos.
Talk about this, please.
I do.
All
I
right.
just want to make sure I have what I need here. So basically, this is an application for the Renaissance Zone for people who purchase the Joy Dental. And what we're doing is, what they're doing is they are applying for Renaissance help assistance because they're going to be doing a major remodel in there.
both inside and outside in terms of what they're doing. I don't have all of the particulars, but probably to the tune of about $250,000. And so part of course, what we can do is that is in the Renaissance zone, one of the blocks. In the Renaissance, that has not been used before, so it can be used one time. And so in this particular case, what would end up happening, if the increase or the cost of their refurbishing is more than 50% of their fair market value, and they get if you allow that to happen, then they get a break on their property tax, okay?
For how long?
Okay, so 5 years, and typically what has been protocol in the past with commercial residents is you normally will give 100% break the first 2 years, then it graduates down, then it's 75 for year 3, 50, and 25, and then after that it goes away. So, Monty, help me out.
And it's only on the value of the improvement.
Right, only on the value of the improvements. And I don't know if did they see the app itself? Yeah, okay, so in terms of where, you know, the true value of it, certainly what they're planning to put into it is certainly going to be much more than, higher than the 50%. So they meet that threshold, the bottom line, so
So on that part of it then, so then after then I guess like 5 years on the value of that property is gonna be then value of the properties are gonna be like $400,000.
well,
Yeah, whatever we come up with.
whatever they, yeah,
Doing the assessment. It'll actually get that value as soon as they completed the work. They'll just get a break, an exemption of the value of the improvement, so long as they meet the 50%. Because it's currently at, what, 131,000.
131 is what the value is on that property right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta look it up.
I'm surprised it's that low.
So there's a good chance with those improvements that, you know, that property will probably increase probably by 100,000.
Oh, nice.
At least, probably more than that, so in terms of, yeah. So basically, as a commission, you need to approve it. If you approve it, then what we do is we take the minutes and it all gets sent in, the stuff that we do. So, questions?
Do you know when they're planning on starting the project or what the timeline is?
You know, I don't know the actual start, but in terms of the hoping to be done, we had a kind of guesstimate on that, and he was hoping that probably by the end of September. I'm thinking has to have a little bit of contractor issue, you know, trying to get a contractor.
Okay.
So,
Questions? Okay. All right, so there's an application here, and so we need to have a motion, or see how you guys want.
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
Okay, motion by Weidrich. Second. Second by Stern. Discussion. Roll call.
Weider.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye, motion carried. That'll be a nice project and a good addition for our community. All right, reports. Water sewer.
Okay, tonight, we got for the board's consideration, we got some pricing for some backflow preventers. We are required by the state to have backflow prevention on our city-owned properties. And so Jared has received a quote here, and so what I'd like to do is, this is for the materials associated with this upgrade. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve this acquisition. I'm going to put it in there for, I'll say $5,200 that way. It looks like it does capture freight, but I'm not sure about tax, if we'll get taxed on that.
Shouldn't.
No, there shouldn't be.
Okay. I'll just say up to $5,200.
Okay, we have a motion by Pillar,
Second.
second by Weidrich. Discussion. Okay, Jason.
Will this cover all of our backflow
For the city buildings, yes.
for the city building?
Okay.
It's for the city buildings, not for residential.
Gotcha.
I see we have a few extra of the hydrant markers. There's 30 of those I see.
That's just markers.
Yeah, just markers, yeah. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Any other discussion?
So then on that 3-inch one, that price is like
A lot more?
yeah, I was just curious, is that the one that's gonna go like on the fire hydrant itself or?
No, it'll actually, I believe the fire department is a 3-inch.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what I can read.
suspending valve. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Miller.
Aye.
Weidrich. Aye. Hack.
I,
Stern.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye, motion carried. All right,
The
street, oh,
Other
sorry, Dan, go ahead.
discussion? Yeah, the point of this discussion for this evening, we've been having conversations with both CC as well as PACE with regard to repairs to the interior of some of our water lines throughout the city. And today we decided to move forward. CC is going to be here to do some camera work, and they will also take on the responsibility, if we approve it, to do a couple of the minor repairs that were identified earlier on. So had some discussion today, and we're going to move forward with that. Since they're already going to be here, so there shouldn't be any excessive mobilization fees associated with that. That's all I got to share for this evening.
Okay, thank you, Dan. All right, street cemetery.
well, as you all know, we've been discussing off and on about snow gates, if, when, how. Mike was kind of nominated to do some investigating, and he's got some good info that I want him to present to us, and then I'll make a recommendation.
I'm gonna type it all up today.
Thank you, the text pretty much?
Yeah, since you got it in front of you, I'm just gonna kind of run through it. Back in December, we kind of heard rumor that Truss Puck over in Washburn did a retrofit for the city of Washburn. I looked into it. He kind of gave me a figure like 12 to 13 grand. And then through discussion with him, found out he had several blades over there with gates on them, and he was willing to sell one. I went over there, I think it was a Saturday or a Sunday. I was on my way to Bismarck, so I swung in there, looked at it. 3 days later, he posted it on Bisman for $1,000 from what he told us. He told me $7,500. Through discussion, playing phone tag with him, it does not have a diverter valve on it. We need to have one. He's got one on hand. He was going to throw that in for extra $500. What the diverter valve does, we have 3 controls, boom bucket and auxiliary. The auxiliary runs our angle. We have to have a 4th control or the diverter valve You just hit a toggle and we'll switch it over. It's all electric over hydraulic. In the meantime, I was trying to find bucket blades for our older bucket and got in contact with Butler. Come to find out they had one from the city of Lincoln. Went down and looked at that. It's only a 10-foot blade. It's just not going to work for us. Ours are 12. If we're going to do anything, I'd like to upgrade to a 14. You know. The gate is off that. Jerry told me to try and convince them to sell them separate. They just don't want to do it. They're scared they're going to be stuck. Through talking with Free about converting these two, it's got different mounts. We have an older style JRB mount, which is the hooks where it'll hook onto the bucket coupler. He was looking at about $1,000 a piece to cut the old hooks off that are on the blades so they fit ours. Well, today I called over to Washburn. Come to find out, he still has that. Supposedly he had sold it. Last I talked to him, the guy was coming to get it. The guy backed out. So called Butler, they still have that one. So this all transpired today. Basically, he's not going to charge us the extra $500 for the diverter valve. If we're looking to do it for $7,500, he will throw it in. We'll have to hook it up and all that and run the plumbing. The one in Bismarck at Butler has the diverter valve on it. We could drop that off, put it on our 12-foot that we have, and have Free fabricate the gate onto our existing one. And he would take that 10-footer in trade for some of the bill for fabrication because he's had several guys looking for the smaller angle blades. I was hoping we could part out the one in Bismarck and that would take care of our extra cylinders, but he kind of would like them on there because that's a selling point for them to be able to angle it. So it's kind of all drawn out here. $38,000 to $43,000 for a complete package. Those were the brand new between Titan and General Equipment. That was the range, and 12 to 13 for just the gate. But then you'd have fabrication to put it on, plus the diverter valve anyway. So it all kind of comes down to there's a $3,000 blade. Actually, a $3,000 gate sitting on a pallet. We'd have to take the blade as part of it too at Butler. I guess if we're looking for something fast and cheap, that'd be the way to go. If we want to do the one at Butler and see what Free will do for us, you know, even if he knocks $1,000 off because he's going to turn around and sell that blade, then we're only into one blade for, probably still that $3,000 after we, get some hoses and stuff. But bottom line, if we do the one in Bismarck and Washburn, 16 grand, and then we got two blades. Granted, they're used, but it'll get us through this year to see how we like them, and we're not spending 40 to 50,000 said and done. And we always have the option to upgrade in a couple of years. But then we actually would have three blades, two with gates, and then we still have the newer hanky that's used on the case.
Yeah.
So if we're scraping and don't need the gate,
Yeah, because that blade in Washburn is a 12-foot.
That's 12, same as ours.
Yeah.
It's just like the older one that I have on the John Deere, and about the same year. And that actually came from Beulah. They traded it in down at Butler after talking with Butler. It got traded in there, and he had bought it, and he had retrofitted that valve on there. Or one of them did. I don't think it's the one he has for sale that he ended up with.
Sure.
So that's kind of where we're sitting. I don't know if Jason wanted me to come in and kind of let you know what I found out. So
Just so I wouldn't miss anything. So I would like to proceed forward with this. Monty, do we got any monies in the coffer you want to use?
in talking with Butler today, it's there ready to go. Like I made a note in there, we could just chain it up and throw it right in the dump trailer that the forestry just got hauled back.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't know what, do we put 20,000 on it as a cap to spend? I don't know what it's gonna cost to fab, what it's gonna cost to retrofit. Is that too high, 18? I don't want it to go over and then it's not have enough.
Well, the one
base
in
value.
Washburn, the hooks are gonna be 1,000, but it's got the valve and everything ready to go. We just gotta hook it up. That's part of the purchase, so we just have to run the hoses and power cable up. I kinda guesstimated on that, maybe $500. But, the one in Washburn, or in, Bismarck has everything. We would just have to rob it off the smaller plow, to put it on ours.
So 20,000 should be more than enough, not to exceed 20 grand for the purchase and retrofit of both. And then make that horse trade with free on that 10-foot for some of his fabrication costs.
So then on the smaller one, 10-foot, that one then is just, that one's, I guess, ready to go then? I mean, that would just go right on.
Well, when they traded it in, they had, I suppose, to ship it or whatever, when they brought it in from Lincoln to Bismarck, they had taken the gate off and secured it to a pallet. So the gate's already off.
Yeah.
But the plow itself has all the plumbing and the diverter valve on there. So we would just have to rob that off, put it on the older hanky blade. And the reason I say that is because why do all fabrication on the newer one? Why not put it on the older one?
Yeah.
And if you're going to be welding and everything, I just soon do it on the older style. And then, but yeah, it's.
Then the smaller 10-foot one would go to free in exchange for some.
He said he'd be willing to horse
Labor.
trade. Of course, we didn't get into specifics how much, of course, he hasn't looked at it,
Free's been very fair to us and does a good job for us.
And that $1,000, that was just kind of off the top of his head because he had just did one for a farmer, put new hooks on an implement, and it was 1.25 inch or 1.5 inch steel. And he said it was right around $1,000, whether that's what he charges us. He usually does give us a pretty good deal.
Okay. Thoughts?
So I guess what if we were just to, I guess, try out the smaller blade? I mean, all that stuff is there. Just try it out.
Well,
The
still have to
10-footer.
purchase it because they're not gonna let us use
Well,
it.
yeah.
And then there'd
But-
still be $1,000 to switch the hooks. So now you'd be into it for $4,000. And then whatever
Okay, so that
incidentals,
one needs some work,
plumbing wise, say.
It's not just gonna be a bolt-on thing on our machine. Okay.
No, there's like 8 different styles of JRB mounts. They go by Cat, by John Deere, by, and what had happened 35 years ago, we had a Cat loader. So when we switched to the JRB mounts, we used the Cat specific. Well then, when we got the John Deere, we wanted to be able to interchange stuff. So when we got the bucket, we got the Cat specific. So now 35 years later, we have all this Cat coupler, and we don't even have a Cat anymore. So all our angle blades, the clam bucket, the man basket, everything has this old style, and it's not even a current one anymore. When we got the snow blower, I think it actually cost us a little more for them to, because the spacing, the hooks are the same, but they're, same diameter hook, but the spacing is 4 inches different and like 4 inches wider. All the newer stuff is a little heavier duty and shorter compact. And I didn't even ask if he takes those new style JRBs off if that's something that we can also on trade, you know. If we were to get the one out of Washburn, of course, the one out of Bismarck, you know, if we're gonna do that and retrofit it, since the gate's already off, those folks would stay on, and he would just sell it as it is.
So if we did one, Mike, what would your recommendation be?
If we were gonna do one,
Yeah,
I'd say go with the cheaper one.
Okay.
Because then you have that on trade. That's just me,
mhm,
just to see, you know, how it goes.
Yep.
Said and done, we could be into it for worst case scenario, 5-6 grand,
mhm,
but we're still $2 to $4 grand ahead because we still have to retrofit that, and we're not gonna have any trade
Right.
with the Washburn one. We'd still have to get new
Right.
hooks. We'd still have to get the diverter valve put on
mhm.
and extra hoses and the power and the toggle up in the cab.
Sure. Okay,
The reason I look at it that way is the what ifs. You know, I'm looking at 38 to 43. We've talked about before only doing one gate. You either gotta do one or none, in my opinion, because you're gonna have to run the whole community if we need a snow gate with one machine.
yeah, but I think if we got one and tried it and see if we liked it, and then if we like it and it goes well, then go after another one. Is kind of, I think to be efficiently doing our community in a snowstorm, eventually we would need to have two. But in order to, you know, at least get one and try it, see how it works, and especially in some of our real problem areas where it's hard to not plow in every dang driveway, and
And then,
so,
like I told Mike and Jerry both today, you know, the fact of the matter is our equipment is not newer. The more we use it, the older it gets. Down the road, 10, 15, 20, maybe sooner. We're
We're
gonna
just
have to,
looking at that older blade that's on the John Deere, that's the old style cylinders that just use compression C. And I think I got that fixed. I got some plates from Free and I welded them on, so the angle isn't as extreme, so I actually have fluid cushion and I'm not right against the ram. And since we've done that, I mean, I've been pretty hard on it, and, you know, I think that was a big problem, that it was just wore out.
but yeah, that's going through my mind too, is we have a big price tag on our hands down the road too, so. I mean,
yeah.
when we start thinking about budgeting for that, I don't know. I'm up for any recommendation. I know we really, and Mike's did a lot of work on this, and
Talking with Jamie Polkerback, he works for City of Bismarck, and they run staggered, they run 2 gates.
Mhm.
One does the middle, and the next one comes along and does the curb. So they actually have a gate running in the middle, and they use it as they get close to the driveway. That way there's not a big pile there. You know, it's just running it enough, you get used to where you need to close that gate way before the driveway, because of course you got a pile here, and by the time it slides all the way across,
Yeah.
you know, it's 12 feet to slide. But they do run 2 from the center to the curb, and a lot of times they'll actually have a third guy come along and then kind of do cleanup. So, I mean, at some point, if we do have 2, it's gonna go a lot faster. I don't know what our budget's like compared to like 16, what we did for fuel. That was probably the last winter that's comparable to this one. Of course, fuel prices are probably.
It's so hard to compare. Yeah,
Double what they are.
like double.
yeah, Monty and I have talked about that a couple times, too. It's just not apples to apples.
I feel like we're not filling up as much because we're not out windrowing and stuff. I don't know, have you noticed?
We're over close to $6 grand on fuel already
Since
since
First?
November. So,
that's just
because
diesel.
we haven't stopped plowing it a single day, have we? I mean, we're always doing something.
We're always doing something, you know, doing corners or whatever. I mean, there's probably 3-4 days a week for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to come up with it because they wanted an average of every winter from October to December from 2016 on, and it's like, we don't specifically track, this was for snow, this was for street, this, if it's filling the loader, you just try to figure out where it is. I'm tracking it better now, but back then.
We've had 4 winters with nothing really.
Yeah.
And then, but I would think this is comparable to 16.
I would think it would be
Something like
pretty close, yeah.
Oh, what do you guys thoughts? What should we do? I feel like if we're gonna continue to clean streets the way we started to this year, we need to invest and do something. It's probably one of the biggest complaints we've had. I know it's not.
Well, as soon as we get done, all of a sudden, boom, we get snow again.
Man, it seems
And
like
these
it.
poor homeowners, they just get their driveway clear and then here we come.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing. And then a lot of people stop me on the street and why don't you have snow gates? Well,
I know, yeah.
it's not that easy, But yeah, that would take care of a lot of the complaints. As far as plowing, it's no different for us. It's just hitting the toggle switch and dropping the gate. Of course, there's gonna be some learning curve for the operators that,
Mm-hmm,
barely run the blade now,
yeah.
but, I just figured, and that was just by chance I run into that cheap one, that little 10-foot is, I don't know if it's really feasible, because that's,
Yeah,
the 12-footer barely goes from the center and then to curb sometimes, that's why you get that little 2 feet. So if you do 10-foot, now you're doing 3 and 4 passes, now your fuel is right back to.
Yep. Jason, what do you want to
So
do?
you're thinking about doing the Butler one?
That's Mike's recommendation, yeah.
I mean, if we're undecided, but still want one, that would be the cheapest route to try it and not have a bunch of money into it.
My question though, if we do this Butler one, can we do that on the newer blade?
We
Instead of
can,
the older? The only reason I'm thinking of that is to say we do like this and we decide to purchase a brand new blade, then we can replace the old one. And the new one already has the gate on it. It's the only reason I say that.
True.
Otherwise, then we'd be like, well, our old blade has the gate on it, can we
You gotta keep
cap
the
it
old
off
one.
or transfer it to our new one?
or
Keep
if
the old
we
blade.
decide we like it, we sell the older blade with the gate, which is a better selling point. Get the new one and then just get the retrofit, just the gate put on. And we'd still be ahead money-wise, I think. But
We just can't afford new though. That's-
No.
Yeah, that's
That's
ridiculous.
all.
And with those, they're still talking like 180 days out
Make the motion.
minimum.
Sign it.
So I mean, even if we said, okay, we got $1 million in it, let's just get this.
Mhm.
If you get it before the July,
Right now.
I don't remember anybody moving.
We don't have a motion yet.
Okay. So I make a motion, we go the Butler machinery plow, the gate with the 10-foot plow, all the upgrades, not to exceed 10,000?
You don't have to, I don't think
Do I
we
have
need,
to, do I need
no,
to put a number on it?
No.
No?
no, you don't have to. We're not looking at,
Okay, all right.
unless someone thinks we need to put that on there, like, Monty,
And then, in addition, we talked with Free and we horse trade with that 10-foot on fabrication, whatever Free does.
motion by Hack,
I'll second that.
second by Weidrich. Discussion. Roll call.
Hack,
Aye.
Weidrich, aye. Hiller,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. So first, Mike, I appreciate, Mike's really done a nice job of communicating with Jason and I and Monty about all this stuff, so thanks for the legwork. Now continue, so tomorrow you got more work to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I talked to, Casey, I said, okay, say they go through with this, what's the next step? He's like, you have an account with us, we've dealt with you before.
Yeah.
We just send a purchase order deal and it's a done deal.
Okay.
So,
You
so I can
contact
call
him,
him and then he can send the purchase agreement or whatever to Monty and
written quote.
then,
Okay.
I wouldn't think it'd be anything over $3,000 what they're telling us.
Right.
Because we don't pay tax or anything like that. And I don't know how that works, if they bill us or we cut them a check and we just take the check to them when we pick it up. I'm not sure.
Okay, get hold of him tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Finance, busing, library. I'm sorry, were you done?
Yes.
Okay.
I just got a question about the streets, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of calls now about the water and stuff that's sitting around. That water, stuff is getting,
Part of the negative aspect of plowing the sides, before we plowed, we were bringing everything off of the curb, we got our gutters open. Now we push the sides, we don't have open gutters, so the water's gotta find its way. And I agree, that's one of the negative aspects of plowing the way we're doing it now.
but in the spots though that I'm getting the calls about, the spots where there's then like 2 or 3 feet in the street,
And we were working on those today.
Okay.
To be honest, though, I don't think it's any worse this year than it was in 16 in the spring. Actually, it might be even better. We have less icing on the streets itself.
Like the streets are better, the intersections are just as bad, but with the water, I agree. Like by your corner there and what's the other one I saw today, by Napa? No, not Napa. There's one
Well,
other
Napa's
one.
bad this afternoon, I noticed.
Napa's always bad because it almost goes uphill before it gets past the old group home.
Well, as long as I just heard Mike saying you guys started working on
Yeah.
them today, and I'm assuming that's gonna continue.
I would think
With
there's
nice
Well, it's gonna be like this all week, all next week, it says.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I was running around doing other stuff and getting this ready, but I did some right before lunch and then after lunch. Then when garbage got done, Scott was in the Bobcat and Ben was in the other loader. And because there was some pulled up, because there's that bad curve by West River, it's shorter than everything else, but when they did that sidewalk, they pushed some into the street. Well, it was all pulled up, so I opened that, and then I opened the ones right out here. And then I went all the way down past the park and punched those open. And then the one on the corner by Burling's, and then Ben was already up by Senex there.
Good, okay.
And then, one up by the Kathy's daycare, that's kind of a bad one in a given year. I punched that open. But yeah,
Yeah, it'll be a work in progress the next 10 days.
there's and the one by, right across from AJ's.
Yep.
That was a bad one. It was still quite a ways from the curb. I pushed that around a corner. That was open by the end of the day. And I've got air lungs. So slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess too, I'm worried about, all this water, getting underneath the street, and stuff, it's gonna freeze again,
They had a water break over the weekend, and when I came back from lunch, I asked Mike what the frost line was. He said it was still over 2 feet. Because that's what I worry about too, when we get these thaws like this. It's still pretty cold underneath there, underneath that asphalt. It's just all surface temp. And that's one of the things we learned at this class that me and Dave went to when we started this whole new snow plan is, it's 30 degrees out, but you go feel that pavement, it's still ice cold, and that frost underneath there, hoping it's keeping that water out.
Next time you talk to your Bismarck friend that on the street That's what they push theirs to the side, like, kind of like we're doing now. Have they seen any issues with their streets with the water sitting and freezing and wrecking streets? So that'd be good to know.
And their streets are way worse condition than ours. I was
And
just
maybe
there
that's
on
why.
Saturday, for hockey, and I had to go down to
Yeah.
Washington and
Yeah.
And they've pulled some today. I was down looking at one at Butler. I happened to run into him. And then he's actually the commissioner out in Lincoln, so he knows all about this plow and talking with him. And of course, he's like, don't get it because it's a 10-foot. I said, well, that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at the gate. He said, oh yeah, you know, we can get the gate. But that's the reason they got rid of it, because it was too small. And I don't know what size Lincoln is compared to us. I mean, they gotta be getting close.
Get close, probably.
Yeah,
And they're looking to get a new one, but he said that's the problem, you know, we're how many days out.
180 days, you think. Yeah, I agree, Casey. There's pros and cons to the way you move snow and how much you move, you know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think if we would have moved it all the way over,
Yeah.
I think it would help, but I mean, you know, you have it in like 2 or 3 feet, you know, the street itself, you know, I mean, yeah, all that stuff ain't gonna drain, but.
Right. Sure.
I bring it.
Okay.
just keep working on that motion goals.
Yeah.
I figured that was gonna be asked.
And the Bobcat worked really good for hugging that curb, getting it off. So there are a lot that are open curbs, but some where stuff got parked and got driven, it's packed down, well, that blower's not for cutting, so you're back to the bucket mode, you know, but, yeah, a little bit every day.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, thanks.
All right.
All right, finance busing.
They don't have anything.
Okay, police, fire,
I don't have any.
HCD.
Just a reminder, you probably saw my announcement about my annual meeting coming up on the 15th, a week from this Wednesday, so if you plan to attend, just let me know and I'll get your name down on the list. And typically what'll happen with you folks is we just turn around and bill the city for the meal, so.
Yeah. I'll just mention that I testified for Anna Novak that she carried for coal, and so far, watching that stuff closely, our legislators that in our district are doing a really nice job for us. So I think things are right now going pretty smooth for what we're concerned about with our finances at least. So. But if you can log on anytime and see what their votes are, you can go to the legislative.gov or nd.gov/legislators, and you can see all that stuff. They're doing it. And they're busier than heck. Holy cow, they've got a lot of bills going on.
I don't know how they keep them all straight.
My head would spin too.
There was over 1,000 bills
Yeah.
this time. I don't understand how you can keep it straight.
I couldn't do it either. 10A, jail agreement. It looks like there's not been an increase since 2003. They were raising the rate $35. Was it 30 before, Monty?
25.
Okay. So this is the agreement, and there's probably not a lot of negotiation room on this.
Yeah, basically that's the only change is the rate. Otherwise, it's the exact same agreement as before.
So we need a motion to approve this going into this agreement with them.
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Stern,
Second, Dan.
second by Pillar. Discussion. Roll call.
Stern.
Aye.
Pillar.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye.
Weidrich.
Aye.
Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. All right, down to 12, new business. February 20th is President's Day. It's a holiday. and that is on Monday. Do we want to meet on that day, on the holiday, or are you guys like to move it to Tuesday?
Jerry, do you know, is that a redetermined day too?
I don't know, Lester,
I think a lot of times it has fallen on that in the past, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just going.
I don't know, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm good to go either day, 20th or 21st, doesn't matter to me.
I'm fine with
You good on the 20th?
Girl regionals on the 20th.
And the 21st?
And
It'd be both days, yeah. Okay. Are you okay with the 20th? Want to keep it there, or you want to move it to Tuesday?
Well, I think, the city employees don't have to work on that Monday, right?
No, they're not, no.
I would think, they might.
You wanted the entire day off then?
Yeah, the whole day.
Okay. Looks like we're moving to the 21st. Okay. Well, I want the entire day off. We'll let his wife know too. Keep busy. Okay, we'll move that meeting to February 20th, 21st. All right, approval of bills. No, I'm sorry, public comment. Any public comment? Looks like there's another here. So now approval of the bills, please. I think there's a couple of that.
Just a couple. The fire department radios are in, so that's one of the big ones that was added today, or have shipped, I should say.
Okay.
We're issuing the check to the fire department. They'll issue one big check to purchase the radios, and then they will give us the reimbursement when it comes in.
Okay.
last I knew it, they were in
Were they
for
in?
quite a while. They were just waiting for all the accessories to show up.
Yeah.
Radios were there, just nothing to go with the radios.
Motion approved.
Okay, motion by Hack,
Second.
second by Stern. Discussion. Roll call.
Hack,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Pillar,
Aye.
Weidrich, Omenauer.
Aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Thank you guys. Thanks, Mark.